Example number 6, we are dealing with the variable that you're differentiating with. On the denominator, you have 110. On the denominator, you have 110. Example number 7, we are dealing with more than 110. Let's put more than 110. Let's not be specific to say 2 terms or what. We're saying we're dealing with more than 110. So what's the story here? Unlike the one that we were doing before, example number 6. Example number 6, we said if you are dealing with 110, it means which you can always split. If you are dealing with 110, we are going to split it. What do we mean when we say it's 110? Let's just give you an example again. Agree if I have 2 and then plus x all over x squared. What I can do is this, because there's 1 term on the denominator, I can write this thing as x. I'm going to write it as 2 all over x squared plus x all over what? All over x squared. That's the story. Because I'm dealing with 1 term on the denominator, I'm allowed to do that. Now, once you deal with more than 1 term, you can't do that. You can't split it anymore. So, if you are dealing with more than 1 term, you are going to be dealing with factorization. You can't split it, but you're going to apply the laws of factorization. So, let's check on the denominator. Is there anything that you see on term number 1 and then you also see on term number 2? Is there something like that? I'll go back to the numerator later on. Let's start with the denominator. Is there anything that you see here and then you see there? There is something, okay? What is that thing? We can take minus 2. If we take minus 2, what are we going to remain with here? We are going to be remaining with, this is going to be minus. No? We're going to be left with minus 3 plus x, like this. Okay, sure. We don't know. Or you can take out 2 as a common fact. You can always take out 2 as a common fact. Now, what usually guides you, how should you factorize this? Is going to be the numerator. Now, on the numerator, you have a trinomial. Now, you should know how to factorize this. Starting from SLS grade 9, they were teaching us how to factorize this. We're going to open 2 brackets here. Yeah? And then we're going to say we have x, and then we also have what? X. We're looking for factors of 3 that when we subtract, they are going to give us minus 2. What are going to be those factors? Minus 3 plus. Are you sure? So now you're going to make sure that when you factorize this thing here, it should have minus 3. It should have x minus 3. That is why we took minus 2 out as a common factor. If you took out minus 2 as a common factor, basically this is what you have. You have 6 minus 2x again. And then if you divide this by minus 2, you're going to be left with what? With minus 3. And then here you're going to be left with what? Plus x. Like this again. This one and this one, they're exactly. Do you agree? And then since that's the case, then it means that you are going to have this one divided by this one. And then you're going to have x plus 1 all over minus 2. Then you can differentiate this thing then. Before we differentiate, then we can write it as, we can have x all over minus 2 again, plus 1 all over 2. Minus 2 all. So we're going to have minus 2 again. Then you can differentiate here. We don't have to take the 2 to the numerator. 2 is a constant. So what are we going to have here? We're going to have 1 multiplied by again. 1 multiplied by minus 2, then it means we are going to have minus 1 all over 2, like this. And then this one here, it doesn't have an x on it. Okay? Then this one is going to be plus 0. And then we are done.